Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how Gadget's built-in ChatGPT app connection helps you build your ChatGPT apps. Out of the box, the connection is going to handle all the boilerplate you need to build these apps. OAuth is going to be taken care of for you. We're going to give you an MCP server that you can then extend and customize. And we've built a Vite plugin that allows you to build your ChatGPT widgets in React. And you're going to get a nice dev experience with hot module reloading. So let's go ahead, create a new app. I'm going to go to gadget.new, and I'll explain more as I go along. I'm going to select my ChatGPT app type, enable auth, and give my app a name, my ChatGPT app. And Gadget is a hosted and scaled app development platform. So I get full stack app infrastructure for both my development and my production environment. I've got a Postgres database that's powering my data models. We have user and session models by default. I've got a serverless node backend. That's where my MCP server lives. And then I've got my React friend, once again, bundled and served by Vite. And there's additional tools. We've got Elasticsearch APIs built in. We use Temporal to power a built-in background job system. I'm not going to go through those anymore. You can check out our documentation for more information on the Gadget framework. Let's go ahead and connect to ChatGPT. I can either click this button or follow the steps here in the assistant. First thing you need to do is turn on developer mode. I've already done this, so I don't need to flip anything on. Note that this is only available as of today to paid ChatGPT accounts. So if you're not paying for an account, you might not be able to enable developer mode and you can't build apps. We've already set up MCP endpoints for you. If you go to API, routes, MCP, you see there's get and post routes. So I just need to go ahead and copy this, and then I can go ahead and set up my connection. I'm gonna press create, paste in my URL, give my app a name, my ChatGPT app. I want OAuth, and I will go ahead and kick off the OAuth flow. Okay, so this is my signed in route on my Gadget app. Once again, we're providing this for you. I'm just gonna use Google SSO, continue, and then I'll be redirected to this authorize page. Once again, this is part of your Gadget app. You can customize this if you want. I'm gonna agree and allow access. Now, ChatGPT's OAuth is a little different than if you're writing OAuth to connect to another service. We have all the details in our documentation or in one of our blog posts. I'm not going to go into it here. We've handled it all under the hood, but the short version is that we're actually issuing a token to ChatGPT instead of getting a token issued by ChatGPT. So here we are. We are fully connected. My app is set up. I'm actually ready to test it out. We can see that ChatGPT has called our MCP endpoint to register tool calls. And I want to test this Hello Gadget tool call. I'll talk more about this auth tool call in a little bit. So I can close this. I'm going to go back to Gadget, copy this prompt, paste it in, and then I'm just going to add my app as context just to make sure that ChatGPT is calling the correct tool. And what will happen here is ChatGPT will make this tool call, go through my MCP server, and it should serve up my front-end widget. And there we go. That's fantastic. Okay, so let's quickly go through what we are providing you in this template. To start off, you can see we've got this About button. If I click that, we can go home. So we have an in-memory router set up using React Router. We're also using some hooks to communicate with the window.openai API. And in this template, we're using it to manage full screen or inline mode. We'll dive through the code in a little bit. You can see I'm also pulling my authenticated user email. So we are able to make authenticated requests from my front end because I'm able to display my email here. If I want to edit how this widget looks, I can click here. It opens up web ChatGPT. This ChatGPT folder is where I'm building all my widgets. And I've got this Hello Gadget widget. And you can see here, we've got our memory router set up. This is where we're using some hooks from a Gadget Inc. React ChatGPT apps package to manage the display mode, either between full screen or inline. And then I've got this use session hook, and this is using our Gadget API client. You see it's here at api.ts in my web folder to go ahead and load up from my session and user model that are connected or related to one another to go ahead and add my user email here. Like I mentioned, hot module reloading is included out of the box, so I can go ahead. We've got Tailwind and ShadCN components here. So if I just go BG green 200, It's ugly, but hot module reloading did work. So it gives you that nice front-end dev experience. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, once again, because it is extremely ugly. One more thing I wanna point out with our front-end widget setup here, we do have this root file with this Gadget provider. This provider is what is making a request under the hood to that auth tool call I mentioned earlier, and it is what enables us to make authenticated requests from our API client. The OAuth token is being attached as an authorization bearer header to any requests made with the client, so it allows us to make authenticated requests to our Gadget backend without having to make a tool call, which is very slow. If I go back to my little widget here, I can also change this app's tool calls and modify my MCP server. And this is available at API mcp.ts. By default, we are using our Vite plugin to get widgets from the web ChatGPT folder. We're creating resources for every widget. In this case, it's just going to be hello Gadget. And the important thing is we're registering this resource URI. It'll be UI widget. This will be hello gadget.html. And we're actually referencing that in the associated tool call. So you need to reference a tool call, hello Gadget. That's what we saw on that ChatGPT connection screen. And the output template is set to that resource URI. When we define our resource, we're passing in our widget content as text here. And we need to set the MIME type to text HTML plus Skybridge. So this tool call, in addition to registering our resource, we're also using an API client that we have defined here in this file, similar to the API client we use in the front end. We get the current user and we actually pass hello with the current username as structured content back to ChatGPT. So if I check this out, it says, hello Riley, which is perfect. That's my first name, it's passing this content to ChatGPT. This is our auth tool call. Once again, this is just serving up the token to that provider. And then down at the bottom here, we are getting some resource metadata. So we're doing things like adding this nice little border around our inline app. We're setting a widget domain. I'll explain that in a little bit, just to our Gadget app URL. And then for our production environment, you see I'm on development. If I deploy to production, go ahead and deploy. It'll be our production environment. And we'll be setting some widget CSP options. That's going to be our content security policy for the ChatGPT iframe. And that's all you need to get started building apps in ChatGPT. You can go ahead, add custom data models. You can add custom backend functions and actions to your Gadget app that you call from your front end. You can add custom tool calls to this MCP server, and then build out your custom widgets. Last thing I want to show off is this widget domain. If I go back to my app, expand it to full screen, we get this button in the top right corner that calls that widget domain. And in this case, it's going to be a web app in your Gadget app. So if I go to my app, I'm at my signed in route. If I go back to Gadget here, go to my web routes folder, we see we have signed in. And so I can actually build a web app side by side with my ChatGPT app, expose functionality from this web app as part of my ChatGPT app, share functions and whatnot. Really nice. Everything is bundled in one place. And because it's built on Gadget, I don't need to worry about hosting, connecting everything together, or scaling my resources. DevOps is handled for me. If you have questions about anything I covered today, you can check out our documentation. We have more information in there. We also have blog posts on extending and customizing our MCP server, adding custom widgets. So check those out. We'll also have a tutorial out soon in our documentation. And you can always hop on our developer Discord to ask us questions. I will be in there and I'm always happy to answer. Until next time, I hope you keep building more and coding less with Gadget.